Hi, Benji here, and inspired by this scene in Pillion, I'm going to unpack why the romanticization of the closet enables and justifies queerphobia. Heteronormativity benefits when everything that's meaningful about queer lives is assumed to occur at the threshold of the closet. Pillion is a recent film directed by Harry Lighton about a man, Colin, who enters a dominant submissive relationship with an older man, Ray, in which Colin is submissive. And there's a pivotal scene centered on a forced dinner between the couple and Colin's parents, where his mum interrogates Ray on who he is and the nature of their relationship in a way that shows she's deeply uncomfortable with their dynamic. The exchange escalates until Ray names what's happening, saying, "I can see that our relationship makes you uncomfortable, but deciding that what makes you uncomfortable is bad for your son is a backwards way of thinking." Colin's mum is supportive of him liking men, but his mum's resistance to his relationship highlights a common gap in queer acceptance. When queer lives move beyond familiar norms, that's rooted in the romanticization of the closet. By that, I mean the dominant cultural belief that coming out is the sole focus of queer life. The coming out story arc is simple and reassuring. From secrecy to bravery, disclosure, then acceptance, and the story then resolves neatly. It also gives cis and straight people a morally validating role to play as a support, without necessarily requiring them to engage with the complexity of queer lives. But being open about your identity as a queer person is only the starting point. That's when work begins that can be harder. Learning what you want, how you want to live, what relationships make sense for you. These parts of queer life can feel less accessible and comfortable for cis and straight people, so tend to be sidelined or erased. In Pillion, Colin's mum has good intentions. She loves her son, but her expectations are still organized around heteronormative ideas of what a good life and relationship should look like. And when her son diverges from those expectations, she reframes her discomfort as ethical concern. And that shift is common amongst people who see themselves as LGBTQIA+ allies, but struggle to engage with forms of queerness that sit outside familiar norms. The romanticization of the closet helps explain why this pattern persists. It doesn't just simplify queer narratives, but also shapes what people think they're responsible for. By keeping attention fixed on disclosure and validation, rather than the ongoing work of understanding the many ways queer lives can function outside of cis and straight norms, supposed acceptance can end up providing cover and justification for all forms of queerphobia. Hope that helps. Bye.